Hello, students. Today we shall try to analyze the chapter 19 of the Poetics written by Aristotle. This chapter is concerned with the thought in tragedy. Earlier in chapter 6, Aristotle analyzed the tragedy into six parts. We were given the six parts of the tragedy, which were they were the plot, the characters, the thought, the diction, the spectacle, and one more we have in this chapter, that is melody, rhythm, etc. So we have already discussed about the plot and character in very detail, and we did very little on spectacle and song. Now the philosopher Aristotle comes upon diction and thought. So this chapter is concerned mainly about the thought of the tragedy. And the next three chapters, that is from 20 to 22, will deal the diction, that is the words, that is the vocabulary. So basically we are now with thought, and the thought of the characters is expressed through their speeches. So we all know that thought is expressed through the characters' speeches, what they speak. And through their speech we conclude that what kind of thought is there. What is the thinking, what is in fact the intention of the poet is there. So there is an intimate relationship between thought and diction, because thought can be expressed through the diction, through their speeches, and speeches are what? The diction, that is the words that they use in their speech. So there is intimate relationship between thought and diction. They are interrelated, they are complementary. In fact, diction is the objectification of thought. It is in fact a vehicle, a conveyance through which thought finds expression. So the thought is there, now it will turn into expression, but there we need the vehicle. So the diction is in fact a vehicle through which the thought is expressed. I have something, for example, I have something in my mind. There is a thought in my mind. But how can I express it? I need words. And words are what? Diction. The philosopher Aristotle has used diction for the words. So it's clear that thought can be expressed only through the diction. So there is a close relationship, intimate relationship between thought and diction. Now Aristotle gives us three ways in which thought, in another words, we also call the intellectual element of tragedy. So thought is also called intellectual element of tragedy. So there are three ways through which the thought can be expressed itself. And which are these three ways according to Aristotle? Number one, proof and refutation. That is, thought is expressed itself in the arguments which the character use to prove or disapprove something. So the thought is expressed through arguments, and arguments are used by the characters in order to either prove or to disapprove anything. So the words which are used by the character in order to prove or disapprove something are the thoughts. So in order to prove, for proof and refutation means to disapprove. Proof means prove. So in order to prove or disapprove, the thought is expressed in the arguments. And the arguments have the words, and these words are the thought. They may try to establish their own point of view. So through these words, through these arguments, the characters try to establish their own point of view, their own points. They also disagree with the arguments which are advanced by the other characters, which are presented by the other characters. So by giving the arguments, the thought can be expressed in a tragedy in order to prove and disapprove something, in order to make their own point of view or disagree the arguments which are given by the other characters. It's okay? Number two, the another way that the thought can be expressed is the production of emotional effects. Here Aristotle says that although today we tend to separate thought and emotion, but in classics or in ancient time, at the time of Aristotle, emotion was a mode of persuasion. So the emotions were persuaded, emotions were created. They were not separated from the thought at that time. Today we separate them. That the thought is another thing and the emotion is the another thing. Hence, it could be considered as a variety of thought. So the emotions itself, a mode of persuasion, and is a part of thought. So it is a variety of thought. It can be called as a variety of thought. So what happens? The speaker may introduce into his speech a variety of emotions. So the speaker uses the variety of emotions. He uses such words, such dictions in his expression, in his thought, that the emotions are aroused. He uses the words which can make the audience happy. He uses the words which can make the audience to laugh, and he may uses the words which can audience to weep. That is, the audience begin to weep. So it depends on the words or the thoughts which are used by the characters, and they persuades the emotions of the audience, and this is the part of the tragedy. Therefore, thought is present both in speeches that involve the reasoning. So thought is there in the speeches, and speeches has the reasoning. There is a reason, there is intellectual thing. Thought is concise, precise, has something important to discuss. And in speeches, they intended to reveal the emotions of the speaker. And what do the speeches do? Through the thoughts, through the words, they reveal the emotions of the speakers. And in this way, the pity and fear, that is the purgation of emotions in a tragedy, are aroused by the characters or by the hero itself who speaks the speeches. Number three, the third way through which the thought can be expressed is indication of the importance or significance of anything. So, by this statement, Aristotle means that the thought is also expressed in speeches. It's okay, thought is expressed in speeches. But which speeches? Which are intended to exaggerate or diminish the importance of anything. So the thought is expressed in words through speeches, and these speeches are intended either to exaggerate और टू डिमिनिश द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ एनीथिंग, माने किसी भी चीज़ की इम्पोर्टेंस को या तो बढ़ा चढ़ा करके या बिल्कुल घटा करके जब कोई बात बोली जाती है स्पीचेज में, तो उसके थ्रू भी थॉट जो है कि रिवील होता है, एक्सप्रेस किया जा सकता है. दैट इज़ द इंडिकेशन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंस और सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ anything. So the importance or the we can say diminishness can also be expressed through the speeches, and therefore the thought comes out. And through their speeches, the characters may make something look more noble. So they see, it is the speech of the characters which makes something look more noble, fine, goodness, and significant, as well as it is the speeches which make something as trivial and base than it really is. So through the speech, the characters makes anything or something significant as well as the trivial. किसी भी चीज़ की स्पीच के थ्रू, और जो तो थॉट है वो स्पीच के थ्रू आता है, और स्पीच का मतलब जो है वर्ड्स होते हैं, अर्थात डिक्शन है यहाँ पे. तो डिक्शन के थ्रू एक तरह से डिक्शन ऐसा हो सकता है जो कि उस स्पीच को, उस चीज़ को कभी बहुत ज़्यादा नोबल बना सकता है, अच्छा बना सकता है, तो उसी चीज़ को वो गलत भी बताया जा सकता है. तो एग्जेगरेट भी किया जा सकता है, उसको डिमिनिश भी किया जा सकता है. दिस इज़ वॉट he wants to say, Aristotle wants to say. So it is a thought, and thought can be expressed through the speeches, and the speeches involve the diction or the vocabulary or the words, and words are important. What you speak matters. If you speak politely, if you use the words, polite words, you will get something different, some different responses. But when you uses the words of the refute, words of the anger or cries, you will get what kind of the response you know very well. So it is the thought, and thought must be very sound. And the thought, if the thought is sound, it should be expressed through the sound words, appropriate words. If the words are not appropriate, the thought cannot be imparted, cannot be given. So this is how Aristotle gives or tells us the importance of the thought and diction. In our next chapters, we will discuss the dictions as well as. So, if we conclude this chapter, we can say that the thought appears in the speeches that the dramatist composes, the dialogues. So, thought is expressed through the dialogues, and dialogue is created by the dramatist. And so, it is the duty of the dramatist what kind of the dialogues that fit to his strategy is created. So, speeches which are appropriate, that I have already used this word. So, the speeches which are appropriated or adopted to the particular circumstances and situations of the tragedy. So, it is very important that the speech should be appropriate according to the situation, according to the circumstances. And if there is death, if someone is weeping, and if then you are laughing or you are using the words of the happiness, you enjoy it, how can it be possible? So we, a dramatist, have to select the appropriate diction or the words for his thoughts, which can reflect the particular circumstances and the conditions. It is the response of the character concerned with these situations. So, situations are there, and situations and circumstances have also been created by the dramatist. So, the characters have to respond according to them, and if he does not, then the tragedy will not be there, then the drama will not be there. So, it is the plot which primarily expresses this reaction. So, the plot जो हमने पढ़ा है, so plot is important. Plot is the central figure, central constituent element of any tragedy, and through the plot everything rounds. Characters also rounds the plot. The thought is also rounds the diction as well as everything is woven around the plot. So, which primarily expresses this reaction, but the effect of the plot is reinforced by the verbal expression. So, the effect of the plot, and what are the effect of the plot? Catharsis, that the Aristotle has used the word catharsis, purgation of the emotions. That is what the purpose of any tragedy. So, the effect of the plot is reinforced by the verbal expression of thought. So, through the verbal, through the speeches, by the characters. So, in this way, this is the function of speech in tragedy. So, the function of speech in tragedy is to create the effect of the plot through the dialogues, through the verbal expressions of thought. So, a thought or intellectual element of a tragedy can best be understood by those who have a knowledge of the art. So, thought can only be understood best by those who have the knowledge of the art. And what is the art? The art of writing poetry. So, one who knows the art of poetry can only understand this intellectual element of any tragedy. Therefore, Aristotle refers his readers to his rhetoric. So, go to the rhetoric and rhetoric means just like we have the rhetorical questions, means we have to see the responses and answers ourselves. We have to find out the answers ourselves. Rhetoric, just like we have the rhetoric questions which have their answers on. So, here he refers his readers to his rhetoric. Rhetoric is also the book written by Aristotle, and there everything has been explained in that way. So, here rhetoric is the work written by Aristotle. So, thanks, dear students. I think I had been able to explain this idea of thought through this lecture, and in next time or in next lecture we will have with the diction, and in another one more lecture we will have the end of this poetics. In this way, uh, I hope you might have well understood what the critical theory, the paper which you have in your syllabus, and Aristotle that you have to study. And I hope, I am sure that you will study it and you will be able to answer questions from Aristotle. Poetics. So, thank you very much. Bye bye. See you.